The oldest way of sharpening has to be with stones. You know it's an old way of doing things because an entire age is named after it. Cavemen were running around looking for rocks to rub their chisels against between dinosaur hunts and finger painting sessions on cave walls. I may have just made all that up, but in truth, stones have been used for sharpening since the dawn of woodworking, and fine sharpening stones are found all over the world, including here in the United States. Which brings us to a question as old as the stones themselves: oil or water? Oil stones are often made up of aluminum oxide or silicon carbide, which you'll remember from our sandpaper segment. But most commonly, at least here in the United States, they're a mineral called novaculite, which is mined in places like Arkansas, thus the name Arkansas stone. This stuff comes in several densities, from soft and coarse to hard and fine. They're very durable, but they cut steel pretty slowly. Aluminum oxide stones are man-made, and companies like Norton call them India stones. Just like aluminum oxide sandpaper, these cut steel quicker, but they don't produce as fine an edge as the denser Arkansas stones. Silicon carbide stones are made by companies like Norton too, and they call them crystalline stones. They cut even faster than aluminum oxide, but only come in coarse grits, so they're best for really aggressive work like repairing damaged blades. The reason these are called oil stones is because a lightweight oil is used to create a swarf on top of the stone's surface, keeping the pores from clogging with metal shavings. They're more durable than water stones, so they require less maintenance, but they cut slower, especially in the finer grits, and the oil makes them a little messy. Technically, any stone can be a water stone if you use water to lubricate it. But once you put oil on it, that's pretty much it. If you want to add water later, it's not going to mix. It's going to be like mixing oil and water. You know what I mean? Modern water stones are different though. Most are man-made from aluminum oxide, but unlike their oil-soaked brethren, water stones are held together with special binders that allow the cutting particles to break off once they become dull. As you sharpen, you're always exposing fresh little aluminum oxidites, so the cutting is much faster. And using water as a lubricant is a lot cleaner than oil. Of course, the downside is they wear much more quickly than oil stones, so you have to flatten them more often. It's said that when man-made water stones were first introduced into the old-timey workshops, the old-timers rejected them because they were newfangled claptrap or whatever they said back then. Some woodworkers even tossed them across the shop to get rid of them. But a strange thing happened, as often does when you throw things across the shop. The stones didn't break when they hit the floor, or the wall, or the shop boy's head. That impressed the old-timers, who were always worried about breaking their fragile oil stones. And the rest, as they say, is history. So, what's the bottom line on stone sharpening? Well, it's simple. Oil stones, they give the finest edge, but they cut slowly and they're a little bit messy. Water stones cut faster, but they don't go as fine as the oil stones and they need regular flattening. Diamond stones cut even faster and they stay flat, but they're expensive and they don't get as fine as some of the nicest oil stones. You might want to just use a combination of the three. Of course, diamond plate for quickly removing lots of material on a damaged blade, then maybe a couple of water stones for refining that edge, and finally a nice hard Arkansas stone for that final honing.